Hello and welcome to BusyWorksBeats.com. Today I have a great new course for you where we're going to focus on drill. Now, in this video, I forget my dog hair all over my microphone. In this video, I'm going to cover the history of UK drill specifically. Now, we're not going to get into the street history because I don't really glorify violence and harm. But the word drill usually means a violent act, but that's not what we're getting into. I'm talking about the sound of the music. So drill, where it came from in a short kind of quick history is UK grime was really popular, and they would use sounds that came from dubstep. So let's open up Serum, for example. And, you know, if you grab some kind of throaty kind of voice-based, like if you go to like the wavetable style stuff, even let me just go to the actual wavetables, go to vowel sounds, and then assign an envelope over top the wavetable. Let's make this a quick decay curvature. So you'd hear basses that sound like voices, and that was the thing about dubstep. Okay, a lot of growl bass type stuff. So if we go to bass, I don't know if they have presets for growl bass, but if we stumble across one, let's look here, like this type of bass. Not this hard sawtooth bass stuff, but the growly stuff that like this type of stuff. So UK took that sound and they made it more simple because they probably didn't know how to sound design, just to be honest with you. And so they came up with sounds that were super saw based. So let's turn it to a 4-voice super saw. They would detune it a little bit, add mono, legato, and then they would add a filter. I know I'm moving quick here, but this is just history. This is not how to do it. And then they would drop this down an octave. Now, their favorite thing to do with this genre is add chorusing. So this is a common effect. And there was a lot of wobbles. There was a lot of LFOs over top of filters. Again, I'm not trying to get into every little detail about it. That type of stuff. So with that starting sound, they were trying to find the perfect bass. And what they did in UK grime was really focus on that bass specifically. That was kind of the thing that made it have a sound, so to speak. Now, from UK grime, UK drill kind of took that influence, but instead of using, you know, super saws or like a synthesizer, they just took an 808 and they tried to mimic that sound. So let's go to our friends folder and let's grab the Spins 808. And I'll show you a technique here. So again, a lot of the grime stuff was like wow, whoa. There was a lot of movement, like wow, whoa, all that type of stuff. So they tried to mimic that with the 808, and that's where we got those kind of woo slides when you hear it in Pop Smoke's music. And I'll show you how to create that real quick. So if you go to piano roll in FL Studio, we're gonna go to pattern mode. Let's find our note value. So we're at C5. Let's pull this up one octave. It's just hard to hear the lower octave. And let's turn this up a lot more. Oh, also a key kind of foundational part to the sound is how you saturate the sound. So my favorite thing to do is run it through a Thermionic Culture Vulture. This is a saturator plugin. So again, it's trying to mimic, using an 808, it's trying to mimic that sawtooth, that unison sawtooth. So it's a very saturated 808 sound. Okay, so now let's draw out our rhythm. Now I'm not going to spend a decade on the rhythm here. Now the BPM is going to be 144. So usually it's boom, 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 boom. So let's do that pattern. Okay, so I know it sounds like very linear now, but I'll show you a way to make it more moving, dynamic. So now we want to go bom, 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 bom. So Okay, so I know that it took a while to get there, but what we're going to do to create that wobble effect is take these notes, highlight those, hit shift, you hit control to highlight these, and left click and drag, hit shift, left click, hit command up or control up. What you want to do now is double click on this note and make it a slide note. This only works in FL Studio's piano roll. Double click, make that a slide note. Highlight these two notes and then make them very, very short. So the shorter you make them, the faster the pitch slide. So how you can see how it's like slower. So if you hit Alt, you can left click and make that even faster. Another cool shortcut is pull this up another octave, so it's 2 octaves up. Okay, now we're going to take these notes, duplicate these out, and pull those up again 1 octave or 2 octaves. I'll just do 2 for the video's sake. Double click, click on the slide note icon. Okay, hit accept. Wish there was a faster way. There probably is a faster way to do this, but whatever. So we're going to make those slide notes, and then again take all these notes and make them shorter, hitting Alt, left click and drag. Now I probably picked the wrong note values, but let's hit control down. Okay, so without the saturation, then you add the saturation back in. Now I picked the wrong note value, so the music theory is a little off, but that's fine. Now the last key is a chorus plugin. You can use any chorus plugin you like. I'm just going to use the highest quality one I have. See how it widens it out and makes it blurry, similar to in Grime how they do that same thing for the unison effect in Serum Patch. Okay, so that's how they do it. And again, it mimics that UK grime bass. So that's where it all came from. Now let's talk, so that's the bass rhythm. And again, I know there's a couple notes that are off. I don't want to obsess about the small things. But now we want to add a hi-hat rhythm. So this is the main kind of sound of what we call UK drill. And let's go to pattern 2 here. Let's start mapping this stuff out in the playlist. Drop that in. Let's go to song mode. I'll go back and change those notes. But the hi-hat is very, 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 very specific. So it goes. Okay, so that's at the core. That's what it is. You can do change ups and different things, but at the core rhythm, it's t t t t t t. Okay. Now I've seen people add hi-hat rolls just to kind of switch it up. Now the other key part to the sound is where you place your snare. So let's go to BusyWorks Beats. Let's go to the Ultimate Producer Bundle. Let's grab a snare. There's a snare in here called Snare Bounce. Now you need a very specific type of snare. You need like almost a rim style snare as a tongue twister. And for this snare, it started this way. So let's give you a little history where it came from, and then we'll show you how it morphed into American sounding stuff like New York drill. So we're talking about the UK drill right now. But let's go to pattern 2 just so you can see it with the hi-hats. And the snare would be on the 4 and, so like 1, 2, 3, 4 and. Okay, it'd be 1, 2, 3, 4 and 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4 and 7. So it's on the 4 and the 7. So if you can't count music, just turn on your metronome. 1, 2, 3, 4 and. Okay, so the and is the in-between note. So their snare would be on the 4 and that 7 count. And a lot of people had trouble like identifying that in America. They were so confused because, you know, in America we're used to the 3 and the 7 count. We're not used to the 4 count, and we're definitely not used to the ands, the in-between notes, for a percussion element like a snare. So that's why America had a really hard time adopting the sound of UK drill. Now let's add one more kick in here. And where's it at? Drumify. Let's add one kick. Now, also a part of the sound and the rhythm is the style kick you use. Most of the time, we're going to use a really heavy kick that is dominant. So it's slamming. I don't know if I have my soft clipper on. I do. Okay, so they would get creative as to where they put the kicks in the UK style drill, whereas New York drill, they took from Chicago drill. So as far as their kick placement, now the UK kick placement is not the same as New York placement. So I'm just gonna put the kick just anywhere. Okay, so it's a little more bouncy in their genre because it's that snare bounces on that 4 and the 4 and. Now again, we could spice it up. It doesn't need to be all the way through. So let's add a couple hi-hats. And again, here's where it gets, again, this is your style. This is how you make it your own thing. I'm just gonna mess with the velocity. Okay, so you get to play around with the kick a little bit more in this genre. See, we're super clipping right now. So you can see where the sound kind of came from, and it makes it a lot easier for sound selection once you understand where we came from. And it all started with that kind of valley sound bass, that aggressive unison bass. I'll just pull up Serum one more time just to show you. Again, it's a simple super saw. Usually it's probably 8 voices, and then they pull it down an octave, put mono legato on, and they put a filter on it, and they add some type of movement. So they're trying to mimic that type of sound. Now it's more aggressive than that. They use a lot more detune. So we're taking that and we evolved it into an 808 sound. And in order to get the same harmonics as a sawtooth from a basic sine wave that an 808 usually is, they had to saturate the sound so it sounds more distorted. And then they added the chorus plugin to mimic the unison of the Serum patch, or that super saw sound. And that's how we ended up on this specific sound for the bass. Now, as far as the sound, you can use piano. Now at this point, your melody can be anything. It could be piano, it could be bells, it could be literally anything. Let's load up Hermes. So this is our plugin from BusyWorks. Actually, it's from hermesplugin.com, www.hermesplugin.com. And let's load some bells in here. You could add halftime, you could do a bunch of stuff. I didn't plug up my MIDI keyboard, so I'm gonna have to play this on the QWERTY keyboard. So the melody principles are pretty simple for this genre because, they're not playing Beethoven melodies. They're playing very basic notes because, again, it's the culture of violence. It's not, going to have the greatest producers. They were just people who wanted to get out a message. I'm sure there was dope producers in this genre. So it just depends on the environment. Okay, so now you can just swap out the sound. I know I'm out of key with the 808, so bear with me there. Let's actually change up the bass. So now I didn't plan on making a full beat here, but just trying to show you the little nuances here. And again, take these top notes, duplicate them, hit shift, left click, hit control up, pull them up 1 octave. Same thing to these notes, pull these up 1 octave, control up. Double click on the note, make it a slide note so that the pitch slides from the bottom note to the top note. And again, if you want the pitch slide to be faster, make those top notes shorter. Wait, I think that's the right note. Did we click on the right one? Yeah, we did. Okay. So that the pitch bend isn't too slow. All right. And take these notes because I could tell they're not short enough. Hit Alt, left click and drag. Now you wouldn't have a slide every bar. So let me just space this out a little bit and then we'll move to the next lesson here. So firstly, I wouldn't do the same thing over and over again. But see how it's very on the dum 1 2 instead of dum boom boom. Like it's not on the ands. Now this chorus could take up the whole sound, so I'm going to pull it off just for time being. Let's go back to that melody and let's make it make sense. Now here I'm just layering the melody, so we're not getting too complicated. It's just 2 octaves of the same thing. Then at the end, I'm going to go a half step. Very common in trap to use half steps, going from one note directly to the next. Now, sometimes they like grand piano, but it's usually some kind of atmospheric sound. Turn off my mic for a second. Okay, so super loud in my headphones. All right, so that's the basics of the rhythm and the history of where the rhythms came from. Okay, so thank you for watching today. It's Game from BusyWorksBeats.com. If you want to learn more about Hermes, go to www.hermesplugin.com. You have to have the www or it won't work. Okay, let's move to the next piece, next section. It's Game from BusyWorksBeats.com.